Thank you for joining us for the 2-minute drills. I'm San Gabriel Valley Newspaper Group football writer Aram Talegian, joined by San Gabriel Valley Tribune Prep Sports editor Fred J. Robledo. Freddie, I am chomping at the bit to get after it this week. You know me.
Finally going to find out, huh?
Yeah, we've talked about this like over the weekend. Are you ready, Freddie? You were calling me. Are you ready, Aram? We are ready to go. This is a very serious tone because I'm probably taking these things way too serious right now, but I'm just excited to see some football right now. The game we're talking about, the Mayor's Trophy, taking place at Charter Oak, Glendora, visiting Charter Oak Friday night at 7 p.m. in one of those get-there-early games.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be out there, including Fred and myself.
Mike the cousin.
Mike the cousin, yeah. We'll have it. We'll have it covered up and down. Probably too much. Freddie, let's get right into this game.
We talked about the game yet? Charter Oak Glendora. Did you mention it?
Yes, yeah, obviously. It's the Mayor's Trophy. I mentioned that. Let's get right into it. Last year, Glendora wins the game 28-21. Charter Oak was coming in off of back-to-back CIF championships in the Southeast Division. They got bumped up to the Inland Division. Last year, they lose that game. Their season never, ever gets off the ground. And they finish, I believe, 6-5 at the end of the day. Glendora, that may have been one of the highlights of their season, one of few, because Chad Jeffries eventually got injured. He's now graduated, but that was one of the highlights of their games. Freddie, let's get right into this. New coaching staff at Glendora, but they have a lot of info on Charter Oak.
Yeah, well, we'll start with Glendora, first of all. Todd Quincy, the former Northview coach, who was an assistant last year with Charter Oak on the football staff. That's going to help him, I would guess, a little bit in his first game at Glendora.
I'm about to get into that.
Yeah, knowing something about them. And Todd likes to run the ball a lot. If you look at his Northview years, and he has with Donovan Holmes and Corey Victoria. I mean, what a great start, because he's going to use those guys a lot. He's going to pound them. How they do against Charter Oak's line is what we want to see. But if he can get those guys, Aram, to do something to move the change, to make the game long, maybe Glendora has a shot in this. Moving over to Charter Oak, I mean, this has been the team of the summer. I know this is your favorite team. Travis Santiago's looked absolutely brilliant in the summer. Chris Gilchrist has looked great. Everyone's talking about Kurt Scobie and how great he's running the ball. The kid is just a sophomore. But I think Charter Oak, and it's been kind of a wait and see for me, because I look at what they did last year, and I've told you, Aaron, over the last 3 or 4 years, they haven't really gone out and won that game that you think they might lose or they're supposed to win. You call them the step-up games. This is a game, I think, even more important for Charter Oak than Glendora, because I want to see the swagger that you've been talking about. I want to see them come out and really set the tone right away that they're the #1 team in this area, that they're a team that's going to contend for the Sierra League and might even surprise us as we get to the Inland Division. What do you think?
Well, they're not my favorite team. I don't have a favorite team. They are the team that I picked to be #1 in the area to start the season.
That's what I mean.
I think that this is a very unique matchup. You mentioned the coaches. Todd Quincy was a 1-year assistant at Charter Oak last year. Roger Armijo, his defense coordinator, was at Charter Oak for a number of years. He still is on campus, I believe, at Charter Oak. He knows the talent up and down. Todd Quincy knows the talent up and down. They have the entire book, from what they remember last year on this team. The flip side is that Coach Lou Farrar and his staff, there's nothing. They've been trying to get tapes of Quincy's days at Northview. They don't have that. They don't know. I mean, Glendora's switching offenses completely here. They don't know what's coming at them.
Right.
So you have one coaching staff that has the entire book plus complete knowledge of the talent. That's Glendora's coaching staff on Charter Oak, and Charter Oak's staff is kind of going into this game blind. But would you put it past a coach like Lou Farrar and an offensive coordinator like Dom Farrar and a defense coordinator like Roger Lehigh, to kind of overcome that kind of, information mismatch? I wouldn't, and that's kind of the kicker here. But you touched on something, Fred. This is extremely important for both teams, and I'll tell you why. If Charter Oak wants to have the season that we all think they're capable of, they need to win this game. They not only need to win this game, they need to win this game big. They are the favorite in this game. There's no doubt about that. Okay, they are playing at home. They need to get off the ground. This is a fellow Inland Division team. They need to win this game. It's a big revenge match for them. But the flip side is Glendora, okay? They're playing in the Baseline League, which is very difficult. Right. Glendora fans, I think, have come to realize that the Baseline League is tough, and they don't really expect their team to kick butt in that league. But if Glendora starts losing games to Charter Oak, to Monrovia, to West Covina, and those 3 teams are on their schedule this year, the Glendora fans will not let it sit well that they are losing games to local teams, to like teams in the area. And you will see the swoon start on this coaching staff. You'll hear the questioning. We've seen it all happen before.
Right.
It will get a bad snowball rolling if they lose this game and then go on to lose to Monrovia the following week and lose to West Covina. These are games that it's hard to say Glendora is going to be favored in. So there is so much on the line for these 2 teams here. They need this game. Now, don't listen to any of the stuff that the coaches will tell you about, well, this is just game 1 and you don't hang banners by winning week 0 games. That's fine, okay? They all want to win league. They all want to win CIF. But your season has to get off to a good start if you're these 2 teams. And that's why this game is so important coming up on Friday night.
Yeah, and you pointed out for Charter Oak, Aram, I think it's probably just as important, if not more, for Todd Quincy to get his program off the ground.
Right.
They don't know what to expect, but I think Tartan fans in general, Aram, them playing in the Baseline League last year and having competed in the Inland Division for so many years, they kind of understand this kind of opponent. I think fixing Charter Oak is nothing that they haven't seen, that they're not going to see all year. They obviously won that game 28-21 last year. They have 2 experienced backs. I still think, who do you think the pressure's on? I think there's still more pressure, though, on Charter Oak.
I think it's on both.
I think there's a lot on Charter Oak.
I think there's so much at stake, it's on both.
You know who I think is important for Charter Oak? Is Kurt Scobie, the kid I ran into the street when I was driving my car. Because when you look back at Charter Oak teams, when they've been really successful, had great runs, they've always had a really good running back. You just look at the 2 years they've had Adam Wema back there.
Right.
I mean, it always seems like you can't just throw the ball 30, 40 times to win a game. You've got to have, and I know Lou Farrar loves to have that guy that he can rely on, that he can give the ball, that can move the change. I'm really looking at Kurt Scobie. I think he's the whole key in this whole game because everyone says how much he's improved. The guy looks yoked up. I mean,
he looks fantastic.
Yeah, if this guy's as good as advertised, and you think he's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
If he can really get it going to go with Travis, I think now you're looking at potentially one of the best offenses in the area. I think them and Amat would be pretty darn close. The question is Charter Oak defensively because they did give up some points last year, but you like them on defense.
Yeah, Fred, I was out there and I visited their practice. I did a practice ambush that actually never made the web. But when I was out there, I saw this group of kids that had fantastic size. I specifically asked Coach Farrar, they were moving some kind of equipment around this group of 5 or 6 kids.
Yeah.
I said, who are those guys, Coach? He said, those are my sophomores. I said, you got to be kidding me. There's no way those are sophomores. He said, they're all sophomores. The kids walked by me. I asked all of them, I said, are you guys really all sophomores? He said, yeah, they are. Freddie, these guys look fantastic. I mean, they look like senior year players. I mean, they look... I could not believe what I saw. And we already know they have a fantastically talented secondary. We already know that they have a fantastic set of skill guys on offense. Now, you throw these guys in along the lines and on the defensive front, and it starts to get scary. Yeah. Let's get into predictions here, Fred. I want to say this. If you asked me 6 months ago, I would say Charter Oak's going to win this game in a blowout. But I saw Glendora this summer. Donovan Holmes is a fantastic-looking playmaker. Corey Victoria is one of the better running backs around. They got a guy, I believe his name is Chad Johnson, on the outside, or maybe it's Charles. I'm not sure. I know his last name's Johnson. He looks like a fantastic receiver if they can get the ball to him. My problem is this. In Coach Quincy's version of the wing tee, if this game starts to get away from them, they cannot throw from behind. Right. And if they do have to throw from behind, you never know what disaster that can lead to. I think Glendora makes a few big plays early. Charter Oak pulls away in this game. They're going to match them big play for big play, and eventually the only big plays being made are going to be Charter Oak, and I think they're going to win this game going away.
You think it's going to be big? I really don't think it's going to be big, Aaron, because... and I've gotten a few emails about Donovan Holmes, too, saying that we're not writing about this guy enough. We're not featuring this guy enough.
Probably true.
And I remember him even a couple of years ago, how much talent he had. And I know Corey Victoria is a very good back. I just see, with these two guys and the way, what Quincy likes to do, I see them moving the change. I see them making this, just kind of making it one of those games that kind of drags on. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be closer than that. I think Charter Oak has the potential to score real quick. And I completely agree with you. All those guys that they have, if they can really put this together, we may see something special in Charter Oak. I just have to see it now under the lights on a Friday night when everyone's in uniform and everyone's tackling hard. I like Charter Oak, just like you like Charter Oak. I like it in a much, much closer game.
Right, okay. I give Glendora a shot in this game. I want to make that clear. I give them a shot, but they need the tempo of the game and the flow of the game to go absolutely perfect. If it doesn't, I think they're going to get run out
You
of the
know
stadium.
they're going to try to slow the game down.
Right, and if
have
that
to.
doesn't happen and they start trying to swing with Charter Oak left and right, it's going to be a big problem, even though they have the entire book on Charter Oak. Okay, we got to get out of here. Those are our predictions. Freddie's got Charter Oak close. I got Charter Oak big. Get out to that game at Charter Oak Friday night. Mayor's Trophy game, Glendora at Charter Oak. Enjoy it.